Hi, I'm Goose, and welcome back. Today, we'll be talking about coloring in Minecraft. This is going to be a three-part series. I spoke with three separate builders, and we'll be talking about the different styles and techniques they use to build and color their art. We'll also be talking about their background, the state of art in Minecraft, and their artistic process as a whole. I hope that this helps you gain some inspiration and insight into different ways that you can color and stylize your builds. All three of these builders have very distinct coloring and building styles. So I hope you enjoy. We're going to kick things off by talking with KNIGHTY. You may have seen this video floating around on your feed, and if you haven't watched it yet, I really recommend going to watch it. It's a very good guide that KNIGHTY has put together to show how he colors his builds. We'll be talking a little bit about the same things that he covered in this video, but we'll be going a little bit deeper into his background and some different techniques and thoughts about coloring and building in Minecraft. But you said you've only been building like a year?
So I started playing Build Battle in like early 2022, late 2021. And I started seriously building around like early 2023. That's when I started posting on social media and stuff. So
Nice. That's fast. You improved quick.
thank you. Right now it's like pretty much just Axiom, Archeon, and World Edit. Before Axiom was a thing, it was Voxel, Sniper, Go Paint, Go Brush, all the common ones. But Axiom is kind of starting to really just do everything all at once, you know?
Yeah, it really is, including all of it. Have you worked with any other 3D software outside of Minecraft before? Like Blender or ZBrush or anything?
I know like very basic Blender for rendering. Like I know how to add a light and change the color of the light and stuff, but I would like to get into like 3D sculpting. I don't
Yeah,
really have experience with that though.
you should. You do have art experience, at least outside of this. Did you do any formal training, like go to school for it, or is it all just self-taught and YouTube stuff like that?
Nah, I started drawing when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Like I picked up a pencil and just drew stuff, and ever since then I've just been drawing on and off.
Nice, cool. It's a way to do it.
Yeah.
You still do it pretty often too?
Not as much as I'd like to, but I do sketch a lot.
Yeah, I feel like
Just reference sketching.
every artist that I talk to, when asked like, do you still do it much? They always say like, not as much as I wish I did. Everybody always wants to do it more. Do you do a lot of your reference sketches for Minecraft? Like, do you work it out on paper first?
No.
No.
I'll only like draw a reference if usually when I do comp builds, I like to do something original, so I don't really look for a reference online. I'll draw my own idea. But for my general builds for social media, I do always just use references off of Pinterest, Google, whatever I find.
Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on using AI generated stuff as a reference?
I do think there is a skill and like an art in creating your own composition, your own, you know, stylized coloring style, whatever. And once you start using AI, yeah, you're inputting the words, but it's creating the actual, again, like feeling of the image. You get me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not you're not making it.
Yeah, just as long as you like tell people that you have used a reference and this wasn't just completely your work, I think it's fine.
I was watching on the video that you just posted recently about this build.
Yeah.
One of the things you were talking about is Archeon's shadow commands, and then going in and touching things up and filling things out. When I'm not very familiar with that command. How much do you end up having to go in and fix up by hand versus how accurate is that at getting shadows on organics?
I have to touch up pretty much everything. Like the reason I use the command is because when you're talking about builds this large, I would kind of compare it to the set command. If you have placeholders, right? You're not going to go in with a brush and color the full thing. You're just going to do / replace being concrete to red, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I see the shadow command as the same thing, but for the shadow areas, those like huge areas that are just completely not getting hit by light, you don't want to go in and color that by hand when you can just do the shadow command. But as a general like accuracy, it does the job pretty decently. But when it comes to more complex organics with like clothing texture and, you know, bounce light and all that, you definitely need to go in by hand.
There's no commands that deal with reflective light with bounce light, are there?
No, but you can use like multi-point lighting, like where you put a light source at one point and put another light source at another point with like I think Easy Texture has something for that, and I think Axiom's Auto Shade also has something for that. So
Okay.
you can make it
Mhm.
work.
Yeah, that's what Grayson uses easy edits, the point light, easy texture
Hmm.
for the lighting and stuff like that.
I love the process of coloring. It's my favorite part of building, so I'd rather do that myself than just get it done with a command. Those commands are very good. Don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah.
just enjoy the process.
Yeah, you want to have your hand in it.
Hmm. Precisely.
We mentioned something that I want to talk a little bit more in detail about, and that is reflective light. Everything is reflective to some degree. That's the only reason we're able to see things. Like I talk about in the Deep Dive into Color Theory series, when light hits an object, light is reflected off that object and enters our eye, and that's how we see. That light is reflected other places as well. We have the light hitting the top right portion of the sphere. The light is also hitting the red surface that the sphere is sitting on. Because of that, some of the light that reflects off of the red floor bounces up and you can see it in the shadow of the sphere. This is a very subtle color change, but it can add a lot of realism and depth into your builds and art. Because there's very little light in shadows, that's what shadows are, the absence of light, they're very good at accepting reflected light. In traditional art, sometimes you'll hear that shadows are mirrors. This is because they will accept the reflected light or the atmospheric light because there is no other light present in them. Here are some examples in traditional art where you can see this really well. Monet is a great example. You can also just go outside and start paying attention to the colors of shadows. You'll notice that the colors of shadows often closely resemble the color of the sky or the color of the material that the shadow is on. When you're dealing with colors in light to shadow, how do you decide what colors or what temperature to lean things toward? Do you do it based off of like color light, or do you like to just move down in value in shadows, or how do you work with that?
Mm, that's hard to answer. I mean, I like a lot of contrast in my builds. I really like, you can tell here, like, I just like the build to look like it's been rendered outside of Minecraft, even though it's completely in vanilla.
Hmm.
So I usually look for very contrasting colors with high vibrance. I don't really like to use low saturated colors because they tend to be more gray and like washed out. So, and usually I'm following a reference for the lighting, so the hues and stuff are sorted out.
Yeah, yeah. So you're following a reference more directly. Do
Yeah.
you? What's your process for creating it? Like, do you do anything? I don't know. I think Axiom has something where you could do like a transparent overlay of an image, or do you just like have a reference up on another screen or like on your phone or something, and you sculpt it by
Yeah, I
hand that
usually
way?
just have the reference like on one of my Google tabs or on my phone if I'm like streaming, and I'll just alt tab and check it out or look on my phone.
Man, you're really good at nailing the sculpting, especially with a figure like this with all the clothes. To just do that off of a reference like on a separate screen, you've really got it down.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of trial and error. Trust me, it doesn't just come first try.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. There's always that. Always the moment like halfway through or a third of the way through a big project where you
Yeah.
really have to tell yourself like, okay, just please trust the process. Like this. I promise
Hmm.
myself this is going to get better.
I mean, one thing I would highly advise, and I'm sure a lot of people that do specifically digital art will know, is flipping your build, like mirroring it and mirroring the reference. You'll instantly, like, especially if you've been working on a build for a while, you'll see the mistakes right away. Like, you'll be like, oh, wow, that looks completely off.
Yeah, I mean, even doing that with traditional, I have a little mirror that I'll
Hmm.
hold up and like look
Yeah,
at
yeah, me
behind me and
too.
see. Yeah, yeah, it does make a huge difference. So when you're working on a huge project like this,
Hmm.
do you find yourself losing motivation partway through and like it kind of becomes a slog, or does it kind of the more you work on it, the more excited you get? Like how do you push through that just the effort of doing a long-term project?
That usually depends on the stage I'm at where I start to lose motivation. So, like, if I'm I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate the first stage of shaping, like when you have nothing on the canvas and you have to, put in the outline, the skeleton, and then begin shaping, and the proportions are all off. That's my least favorite part. So usually, if a project is dragging on way too long in that stage, I'll just scrap it and start something new. Maybe I'll revisit it sometime later. But if I get to the coloring stage of that project, I'm like super motivated because I can see it coming together. I'm like, I want to finish this, you know?
Okay, so the color is like when it really starts get going for you.
Hmm.
So you said you wanted more gray, like gray wood. You would really like
Hmm.
what else? Like if you could add any blocks into Minecraft, what are some things you feel like are really missing?
I'm going to be honest. I think if we're just purely speaking about solid blocks and their colors, I think we have everything we need. If we're considering glass and just we have such a wide range of blocks now that you can almost create any color in Minecraft, you know?
Hmm.
But I think what we're really missing is just the smaller detailed blocks. We have so many inconsistencies with like what colors we have for walls and glass and fences and stairs and slabs. They don't really match up, you know? So I think we need just more we need more blue walls, more red walls, more
Hmm.
green walls. We need more gray fences and trapdoors and fence gates, like that type of stuff. We're just missing a lot of colors in that range, you know?
Yeah, blue has been. I've asked everybody that question, and blue has been the number one request from everybody so far.
Yeah, all we have is warped right now. That's the closest. And when it comes to walls, you have to use like a cool gray tone, like deep slate or blackstone. But we don't
Yeah,
have anything that's even close to blue in the
yeah,
walls.
and the I wish we could do stuff with lapis.
Dude, yeah, for sure.
I hope you enjoyed this talk that I had with Nighty. Nighty goes into a lot of detail with some of the stuff that we talked about in the video that he made, and I don't think there's a point in rehashing it. Just go and watch him talk about it. There's a video link up in the top right corner and down in the description, and you can learn a lot just from seeing how he plans out and executes his builds. If you like the educational content that I make, I want you to know that it will always be free. I will never put this behind a paywall. That being said, it does take a lot of time, so I set up a Patreon. You can get early access to all my videos. You can get some exclusive videos, like last month, I played a lot of scary games with my wife and my friends. You'll get exclusive live stream VODs, and you'll even get a say in what some of the topics that we talk about in the next videos are. So I'll put a link to that down in the description. You don't have to, you're not obligated. Just watching my videos and sharing or commenting is fantastic. It makes me very happy. But if you do want to help out a little bit more, that's a great way to do it. Don't forget to stick around because there are 2 more parts to the series. We'll be talking to Bismuth and Snarple. So I hope you guys have a great time until next video, and a special thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are helping out tremendously, even if it's just little bits at a time. I really appreciate it, and I love you guys. I hope you have a great time, and I'll see you next video. Bye.